Our tactile or touch sense gives us information through our skin, so the skin all over our body as well as the layer of skin within our mouth. When there's an issue with this sensory system, you'll either see someone who's super sensitive and really notices the feelings of things, or someone who's undersensitive and can be a little bit unaware of the feelings of things. So if someone is super sensitive, what you might see is that they're really aware of the tags and the seams on clothing. They're very particular about the textures that are next to their skin, either in terms of clothing or when they're being washed, the towels and the washcloths that are used. They might be very aware of textures in foods as well, and not like sometimes mixed textures, so something like a stew or cereal where you've got something that's like runny and wet as well as something that's hard or crunchy might just feel not good to them at all. They might not like to wear short sleeves or shorts and not like that kind of contrast. They might not like their hands or their feet being against like grass or sand or something that's kind of messy. And they might be quite particular when it comes to the grooming activities like hair brushing, hair washing, nail cutting. Some of that might just feel absolutely awful to them. When someone is less aware, what you might see is that after a meal there might be some spillages on their face and they don't notice it or they don't wipe it off immediately. They might not have clothes tucked in right after coming out of the bathroom, or kind of have something up on one side and down on the other, say down at their socks or the trouser leg, and not notice that. So when there's an issue with these sensory systems, what you're primarily drawing on is the proprioceptive or the deep pressure. And you can watch the video on proprioception, especially for someone who's super sensitive to touch. What's happening is that they are experiencing that as pain. So it's traveling up to the brain on the pain pathway. And what happens when you use deep pressure or proprioception is that it gets up to the brain a little bit quicker and it says, okay, relax, I can handle this. And it helps dampen down the response to that stimulus. So that's really important for any time that they know they're going to have to do an activity that's going to challenge their system, say nail cutting, toothbrushing, that they're learning to do a bit of squeezing of the nail bed before they do the clip. And they might need to do that even in between each clip, not cutting the nails too short, so it's not going right down to the skin. Before hair wash, that they're squeezing their head, getting that bit of deep pressure. That when you're hair brushing, you might be holding the hair quite tight here so that each brush of the hairbrush isn't pulling from the scalp, using softer bristles as well. That they're choosing the clothing that suits their body. For some people that means wearing something tight, either tight cotton or tight lycra, something that squeezes their muscles in right against their skin, and they might wear that under a uniform or whatever other clothes they have to wear. Some people are really sensitive to the seams, so wearing clothes inside out can make it a little bit more tolerable for them, especially again the layer that's right next to their skin. And you can buy seamless socks and underwear as well if that's something that helps. For washing, some people prefer to be in a really deep bath, so they don't have like the layer, that line kind of a shallow bath against their skin. Some people can't tolerate the showers, and other people like it when it's a really heavy shower because that again gives a little bit of deep pressure. For toothbrushing, you might show the person how they can use a bit of deep pressure along their gum line, either in their mouth or over their mouth, and the same before and after meals, especially if they're eating a texture that doesn't feel great to them. And other ways they can get a bit more proprioception into their mouth is biting on something, be it a chewy or like the end of a toothbrush, or chewy foods like licorice or dried apple rings. Or sucking or blowing through a really narrow straw. The narrower the better, and the thicker the liquid the better as well. That gives a little bit more proprioception. For somebody who's feeling things less keenly and is less aware, you can do one thing, which is just to prime them that, okay, after the meal you need to check yourself in a mirror, pull out a little compact and check your face, wipe off whatever's there, or just by rote use a napkin after a meal, and to check themselves when they come out of the bathroom as well. Are things tucked in evenly and are they looking neat? And you could also let them use, say, different types of materials, scratchy wool, soft wool, lycra, and to kind of rub that over their faces and their arms and legs so that they're kind of priming their body to experience a little bit more of the contrast and to bring their attention to that a little bit more.